Because I'm at the National Library in Buenos Aires, I was outside and I saw the steeple in the distance, and I thought I would share with you 3 poems that talk about religion from the book Pheromemes. This first one is called Jumping from the Mausoleum. When I was young, I sang in our church, and as a female teen, I was a little peeved I could never become a priest. So, as a teenager, with nothing to do one night, me and a few friends went to a local cemetery once it got dark, brought along a couple of white sheets. Now, this was a small cemetery in a small town. It didn't have high fences or gates. So we just walked into the graveyard at night, and we waited by the mausoleum until we saw a car coming down the long road from a distance. And that's when I'd get up on the roof, throw a sheet over my body, and when the car would get closer, just when it was about to make a turn near that cemetery, that's when I would jump to the ground in the darkness. My arms were out and I was covered with a white sheet. And we'd laugh, wondering if they thought they'd seen a ghost. I mean, this is what we do for fun, teenagers with nothing to do in the middle of nowhere. But my dad heard what happened, and he asked me the next morning if I knew anything about what had happened at the cemetery the night before. I don't even remember what I answered, but as far as I knew, we weren't doing anything illegal. No one was hurt. And it's still kind of funny to imagine how those drivers reacted whenever they saw what they saw when they were just driving down this lonely road by a cemetery. Did they think they saw a spirit? Ah, well, the church didn't want a female priest. I suppose it's for the best, and that the church wasn't suited for me anyway. I'd have more fun making people look toward the dead and question what they see. This one's called Violence There. Ancient mythology may have had fantastic stories of how gods would battle each other, but gods have been developed by man to explain mysteries to us mere mortals. Pray to the sun god, chant for the rain god to create the crops to satiate our simple survival. But as I see it, as time wore on, the gods we all claim to revere seem to stop quarreling amongst themselves because... And wait a minute, if they are gods, shouldn't they have figured this out already? But the gods figured out that instead of battling each other, mere humans are much easier targets. And when that gets old, why not let the idiotic masses do the killing themselves? Because, sure, in the Old Testament, the God punished Adam and Eve not because Eve ate from the tree of knowledge, but because she convinced a man that knowledge might be a good idea. And sure, there's a flood, a pretty big one at that, and there's a mass killing of firstborn sons unless you put lamb's blood in a cross over your door. Sure, I get it. There's violence there. But in the New and Improved Testament, they say to be kind, to turn the other cheek. But now we're reduced to humans who fight in the name of God. And if we humans got any of our Colosseum-themed bloodlust from our gods, they must be having a field day watching us destroy ourselves. It may have taken those gods too many millennia to figure it out, but now that they've let their violent side fester in us for long enough, those gods now can just look back and watch us mere mortals as a really entertaining show. My last religion-themed poem for you, this one's called Quibbling Over Religion. Believe me, I'm no historian, because even though some form wars to fight for land or fight for power, if you look at the bigger picture, I mean, historically, wars have been over us mere mortals, quibbling over religion. My God is better than your God. they think, even though, well, what do you know, half the time in modern times these fools are fighting over how to interpret the exact same God they've conjured in the first place. For some reason the phrase, "love thy neighbor as you love yourself," keeps coming to mind, but so does the Inquisition. What a show. What a centuries-long show. Just like the Crusades and witch trials went on for hundreds of years. Just like the anti-Semitism. And that might have a thing or two to do, you know, with World War II. And try to say with a straight face that if they're Christians bombing abortion clinics, that there's no such thing in this day and age as Christian terrorism. Think about it. In modern times, the Holocaust might be too far away for the young people to remember, but Christians are bombing abortion clinics. Muslim extremists are shrouding women and beheading non-believers. Because even if people claim to believe in the same God, we can still find reasons to hate each other. If we believe in those gods, we can only say that they've taught us well. Because after all this time, when we mere mortals now all have all this power, the only choice we have is to destroy ourselves. And so we do.